Hey guys, so today I'm going to show you how to install a full sound system into your truck or car, doesn't matter. This is my 1996 F250 Power Stroke with the 7.3. You guys are going to see a lot of this truck on my channel. I use it as a tow rig and pretty much like a mobile workbench, toolbox, yeah. So I'm going to go through all the parts that I have ordered for this and tell you my reasoning, and then we'll go ahead and get it installed. So before I install any of this, I wanted to give you guys a brief description of what I'm trying to do and what all these parts are. You may be wondering what all of them are, what they do, and that's totally fine. So basically every car, truck comes with their stock head unit and speakers. The head unit is the radio. Every car has one. So if you want to get the best quality sound out of your vehicle, the thing you should do is, well, obviously buy a sound system, but to break it down a little bit, what they're called audiophiles. They're enthusiasts in the music, the car audio sound system world. But what they recommend, and what most people will recommend, is you have your speakers powered to an external amp instead of just your head unit, because on most stock cars, the speakers are powered directly by the head unit. And while that's great and dandy, it doesn't provide enough power to get the full benefits of your speakers. And then I have this amp here, which powers the subwoofer in the back. Yeah, so I already have speakers that I've installed in the front doors. I did those a couple days ago because I could not stand the stock speakers in this truck. They were awful, they were breaking up, it was terrible. So I will include clips of installing those, and I will show you also how to, if you have stock connectors on your radio or on your speakers, I'll show you how to cut them, rewire them for the aftermarket speakers. Alright, so just a quick breakdown on the parts that I have. Right here, this is my external amp for the speakers. This is a 4-channel amp. It will be powering all 4 of my speakers in the truck. I will list everything that I have purchased in the description so you guys can buy it if you want. This is a great priced amp. It has all the power that I really need, all the power that you'd need if you would like. So that one I will list in the description. This is the second amp that I have. It is a 1100 watts amp for my Rockford Fosgate P3 12-inch enclosed subwoofer. So this will be plenty of power for my subwoofer. This is a pretty common amp that most people get. It's probably the most recommended on Amazon, so I will also include that. Here I have some extra RCA cables. This amp kit right here, this is a full amp wiring installation kit. This comes with your RCA wires, your power wire, ground wire, radio wire, and including clamps and such. But so since this is a 4-channel, you're gonna need 2 sets of RCA cables, one for the front speakers, one for the rear speakers. So that's why I have this extra set of RCA cables. Now over here, these are my Infinity REF 8622 CFX speakers. These are some high quality speakers for the rear. They are, I believe, 6x8, looks like. Yep, they're size 6x8. They will go in the rear doors. Infinity is a really high quality company when it comes to speakers. They've been in the game for a very long time. Now what I don't have shown on the hood of the truck are these inside door speakers for the driver's side and passenger side doors. These are Polk speakers. They are, I believe they're sized 6.5. So this is your pretty basic door speaker size. These sound great. They also come with this included tweeter in the middle of it. That's one thing that I didn't purchase is external tweeters, because I don't really have a need for them. So if you do purchase tweeters, that is something I will not be covering, unfortunately, but there are videos online that will show you how to install tweeters. Alright, let's get started. a sleepy doggy. Hi, Sky. Hi. Alright, fine. Okay, so now we got all of the battery cables connected. We've got our little fuse down here, went through, zip tied everything to the hoses so it looks nice and clean. I have the connectors right here. They aren't connected to the battery yet because the battery's not connected. So now we have this whole mess to deal with, and this is where the fun starts.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Well, in the process of taking out the seat, we broke a bolt. Honestly, I'm not surprised. My old F-250 did the same thing. This is a, I don't know, 22-year-old truck anyways. So there's the bolt right there. Alright guys, so it's the next day. We weren't able to finish it yesterday. It got really dark really fast. So we're gonna get at it and finish it up today. All we have left to do is the ground wires, finding a good spot for both of them, and then just wiring everything up to the amps. So let's do it. Alright, I have the rear bench seat out, which honestly I should have done from the beginning, because look at all this room for activities. Anyways, so this seat belt bolt here is going to be my ground for one of the subs, or one of the amps, probably the sub amp. And then I got the same thing going on the other side. So I'm going to take a wire brush to this because you need to get the best grounding possible. And so we're going to take away as much of the paint as we can around that bolt. and then set her on there. Alright, we got this one finished. That's about what you want it to look like. You want to get the best ground possible so you don't have any noise in your speakers or subwoofer or amps or anything while you're driving. So we're going to go ahead and do this to the other side as well. And now we have a solid ground point on the other side. So one thing I wanted to bring up really fast, it's pretty controversial on if you can, or if you'd like to put a ground, if you have two different amps, to have them both grounded at the same spot. It's kind of up in the air for debate, but some people find less problems having them on the same point. Some people find less problems having them on a different point. It's just your personal preference. If you come up with problems, you can switch to the other method. But for our circumstances, I'm going to do two different spots to try and get the best ground. Alright, so now we're in the truck. I had to bring my dog in because he's absolutely terrified of the thunder, and he can't really handle it by himself. We have both the amps here, all the wiring, and we have the infinity speakers, which will go in the back corners of the truck. Right now we're going to figure out how to run the wiring from both the head unit and the power cables under the carpet back here under the seat. I want to make sure it looks clean and good. And so here we go. So after fighting with the head unit for literally like an hour, I finally got it out. I actually had to go inside, get a butter knife, and stick it in both sides of the head unit, and then just yank it. And so it finally came out. So the head unit that came with this truck is an aftermarket one. It's actually really nice. It has a lot of really nice settings on it. What I really want is all these connections on the back. This one right here, this is for like your speakers and all of your, like, if you have steering wheel volume controls and stuff like that. Mine doesn't. And then this one right here is a mic. This aftermarket, or this head unit came with a mic that you can just plug in and talk to people through the radio. I'm actually going to be installing that. It's in the glove box. I don't know why the previous owner didn't. But these 6 right here are the most important ones that we want to look for. So these are your RCA cables. This is arguably the cleanest sound you can get from your radio to your speakers. So this one right here, these bottom 2 are for the subwoofer. This is the right and left. Most of your aftermarket head units will have this. But these 4 up here are what's really important for my application. So that we're going to have the front and rear speaker RCA outputs. So this is the right and left front, and then the right and left rear. Okay, quick update. I didn't film all this because it was a lot of swearing and somersaults and tripping and not fitting. Anyways, so I was able to run both power cables, all 3 RCA cables, and the remote wire under the carpet. The power cable is coming underneath here, and then it's coming out a slit in the back that I cut, and then all 3 RCAs and the remote wire are going under the carpet, all the way over there, across the door, under this carpet over there, under the seats, and then it pops up back over there. You need to keep at least 18 inches away from the power cable and the RCA cable, because the RCA cables are so sensitive that they can actually pick up the noise from the power cables coming from the battery. So that's why I ran the RCAs over there and the power wire over here. That's almost like 4 feet, but yeah. So now I'm gonna start running the speaker wire from the front door speakers and the rear speakers. That shouldn't be too hard. We'll get right after it. Alright, finally got all the wiring finished. I have it all run through under the carpet. Oh, hold on. There we go. Okay, now I have all the wiring ran clean. You can't see it anywhere. The only place you can see it is back here underneath the rear seat. Got both rear speakers to put in, and then it's just wiring up the amps. So let's get to it. Alright, so we finally got all of the audio equipment installed. All the speakers, wires, amps, everything. So I figured I'd show you guys what it looks like now that it's all finished. It's all clean, looks, you know, as it should. Factory-ish. Show you the setup back here. So here is the subwoofer, just chilling back here. I'm probably gonna get something to strap it down somehow, but I haven't done that yet. So here's what the amps look like with all the wiring. I haven't gone through and tidied up the wiring yet, but it looks pretty good. You can't see any of the wiring going to the head unit or through the firewall, only if you come down here and you see these. But I mean, who's going to be going down there? Walk around to the other side and show you. So here's the other side. Here's the Alpine amp that I have powering all speakers. It looks pretty good. I haven't had anybody say anything about it not looking good or anything. Sounds awesome. Sounds really good. I actually came to this exact spot to tune it so I didn't disturb anyone because there's nobody around here, but I got it dialed in so it sounds really good now. The subwoofer hits perfectly with whatever music I want to listen to. If I'm listening to rap or pop or hip hop, the subwoofer hits pretty hard. If I turn it up a lot, it'll probably break something. I have had it turned up pretty high and it rattles the rear view mirror and the side mirrors, but on the flip side, if I'm listening to rock music or country or stuff like that, the bass is a nice subtle feel to the song. It almost feels like you're at the concert, honestly, because the bass pedals are right there at your back, and it's even more intense when you flip this seat down because it's like, saw dude, right there, right in your face. But I always leave this middle seat flipped up just in case there's ever a third passenger. So yeah, that's it. That's the full installation. Sounds great. So that concludes this video on installing all of your audio equipment in your car or truck. The process is pretty universal for most cars and trucks. Some of the newer cars will be a little more difficult just because they have extra stuff in them that you need a degree in IT just to get to. But unfortunately, I don't have those tutorials because, you know, I don't own every single car and truck. But there's videos online, there's tutorials and forums. So there's lots of help for you. But I mean, if you have this truck, this is a pretty simple setup. This is a 96 F250. It has, everything's pretty removable. Over here, those are the speakers. There, the covers are pretty removable. Door panels are pretty universal for most vehicles. Back here, same thing with those ones. You guys saw that. They're super easy to remove. Really easy to hide everything. The beauty of this system, or a system like this, is you can turn up the sound as high as you want without any distortion or any crackling, anything like that. The limit isn't going to be your speakers. The limit is going to be your windows or your ears, really. So be careful when you're doing that. Don't turn it up too loud. You don't want to destroy your ears. But I mean, I guess I'm a hypocrite for saying that because I turn it up really loud. I listen to music all the time. So one quick thing I wanted to say before I end this. So when you're tuning your stereo, don't touch any of the settings on your head unit right here. Because if you go in there, there'll be settings on, like, you know, bass level, treble, stuff like that, mids. Don't touch any of that if you have an amp that's powering all your speakers, because your amp is what's going to be tuning everything, obviously. And if you go in there and you change any of the settings on the head unit, it's going to affect the sound after you've already changed all the settings, if you change it in the head unit. So wait until afterwards, after you've tuned everything with the amp, then maybe you can change the settings. In my case, I was kind of dumb, and the subwoofer was turned off on the head unit, so when we first plugged it in, it wasn't working. So I thought I did something wrong, but we found that it was turned off on the head unit. So just look out for that. But yeah, thanks for watching. Feel free to check out any of my other videos. If you guys have any questions on, tuning the stereo or installation or anything like that, products I used, why I use them, leave them in the comments. I'll try and answer as many as I can. But yeah, I will see you guys next time.